Good morning, friends. Today we are going to see the next point from the topic mechanical properties of fluid, that is the shape of liquid drop on a solid surface. Friends, the total theoretical part is here, so I have written the points, and so that will be very easier for you for making the proper notes. So let us start with the point shape of drop on a solid surface. In order to explain this concept, I have drawn the two diagrams here. You can observe that this is the for the acute angle. You can see that theta is acute angle. So here solid and here solid surface is there. Here is a liquid surface and here is the air. So here T1, T2, T3. These are the three forces are acting here. Similarly, for obtuse angle, I have drawn the same forces T1, T2, T3. We know that for the acute angle or the angle of contact is here is a theta, that is acute angle. Here the angle of contact is a obtuse angle. So why they are acute and why they are obtuse, that part we have already studied. Now friends, here what is a T1? T1 is a force due to the surface tension of a liquid and solid interference. You can observe here. Again, look at the T2. T2 is a force due to the surface tension at the air and the solid interference, and T3 is a force due to the surface tension at air and liquid solid interference. So here you can say that T1 solid air, T2 air solid, and T3 liquid and air. So in that way we have written about the T1, T2, T3. What is the important condition here? The important mathematical equation is T2 is equal to T1 plus T3 cos theta. So cos theta is equal to T2 minus T1 upon T3. Friends, this condition is very important. What I have written, T2 is equal to T1 plus T3 cos theta. So cos theta is equal to T2 minus T1 upon T3. Now we have to consider the different cases. Case 1, if T2 greater than T1. If we consider about the surface tension, and if the surface tension T2, what is the T2? T2 is a force due to the surface tension at the air solid interface. If T2 greater than T1, then theta is acute angle. So the shape of the liquid will be just like this. Case 2, if T1 greater than T2. If T1 greater than T2, then you can assume or you can observe that this value will be the negative, and if the value is negative, then theta will be obtuse. Theta will be obtuse. So remember here when we are saying that the acute angle at that time, what should be the condition? T2 should be greater than T1. For obtuse angle, T1 should be greater than T2. Now the case 3, if T2 minus T1 is equal to T3. If T2 minus T1 is equal to T3, then T3 upon T3 is nothing but the 1. So cos of theta is equal to 0. Cos theta here, T1 upon T1 we are getting 1. So for theta is equal to 0, cos of 0 is equals to 1. So here if T2 minus T1 is equals to T3, then cos theta is equals to 1, so theta is equals to 0. So what we can say regarding the case 1, case 2, case 3. In case 1, if T2 greater than T1, theta will be the acute. If T1 greater than T2, theta will be the obtuse. And if T1 minus T2 is equals to T3, then theta is equals to 0. 0 means that the surface will be the plane. Angle of contact is 0. Case 4, if T2 minus T1, if T2 minus T1 greater than T3, if T2 minus T1 greater than T3, then what will happen? There will be the no formation of the drop and the liquid will start spreading. So during the flood like situation, this will happen. So friends, during the examination regarding with the CET, JEE and the NEET, the question may be asked if T2 greater than T1, then what will be the position of angle of contact for the formation of the liquid drop? Acute, obtuse, zero angle, or none of these. So remember, if T2 greater than T1, then the formation of the acute angle will take place. So these conditions are very important regarding with the CET, JEE and the NEET examination. So friends, I am going to explain this point once again. The shape of liquid drop on a solid surface. Here we should draw both the diagram. One is for the acute angle and one is for the obtuse angle. Remember T1, T2, T3, T1, T2, T3. Only what is the difference? Here is the acute angle and here is the obtuse angle. Then we should mention what is the T1, what is T2 and what is T3 according to the diagram. So very important point, we start from here. So what is the condition? T2 is equals to T1 plus T3 cos theta. So cos theta is equals to T2 minus T1 upon T3. This is a mathematical condition. Here we have tried the different cases. In case 1, if T2 greater than T1, then theta is acute. If T1 greater than T2, then we are getting the negative value. So here theta is the obtuse. And case 3, if T2 minus T1 is equals to T3, then cos of theta is equals to 1, so theta is equals to 0. And if T2 minus T1 is greater than T3, then there will be the no formation of the liquid drop, so it will start spreading all over. Friends, now we are going to see the next point of the topic, that is the axis pressure. So what is meaning of the pressure? Pressure is nothing but the force per unit area. So in your syllabus, we are going to see the pressure with the surface tension, and at the same time we are going to see how does the pressure will affect on the plane surface of liquid, concave surface of liquid, as well as the convex surface of liquid. So in order to explain this, we have to divide the axis pressure point in the three part: plane liquid surface, convex liquid and the concave liquid. Okay, just we'll draw the first diagram. Here you can observe that in this container there are the 2 points, point A and the point B. Point A is above the plane surface and point B is below the plane surface inside the liquid. When the liquid surface is plane, at that time surface tension acting on the wall of the container will be get balanced. As a result, there will be the no change in the shape of liquid surface. So the liquid surface will remain the plane, or in other words, we can say if the liquid surface is plane, then the pressure difference at point A and at point B is 0. So the net pressure is 0. As a result, the surface will be the plane. So this is regarding the plane liquid surface. Second point, for the convex liquid, you can observe that the convex liquid. So here, for the convex liquid, the surface tension is acting in the downward direction. You can observe the diagram. So what we can say regarding the pressure? So the pressure will be acting in the downward direction. So if the liquid surface is convex, then the pressure is acting in the downward direction. Friends, within one line you can explain this second point. Next, for the concave liquid. For the concave liquid, if you observe the point A and point B, so for the concave liquid, the force, the surface tension is acting in the upward direction. As a result, the pressure will be also acting in upward direction. So this point we have to write. So in your textbook, the large explanation is given, but what is important, I am going to explain that point, which you have to remember throughout for your CET, JEE, NEET examination as well as for the board examination, that if the liquid surface is plane, then the pressure will be 0. Means it will be, the pressure will be 0. It means upward and the downward pressure will be get balanced. As a result, the surface will be remains plane. If the liquid surface is convex, at that time the surface tension is acting in the downward direction. So we can say the pressure is also acting in the downward direction. So if we take the mercury, then in that mercury the pressure is acting in the downward direction. Next, for the concave liquid, the surface tension is acting in the upward direction. So, if the liquid is concave, the pressure is acting in the upward direction. So, within one sentence, you should remember. So, friends, remember, not a long questions are going to ask on this point. So, within a one sentence, you can remember for the plane surface, pressure is 0. For convex liquid, the pressure is acting in the downward direction, and for the concave liquid, the pressure is acting in the upward direction. Only this point you have to remember. Now, why does this occur? This occur due to the surface tension. So here, for the plane surface, the surface tension is acting at point B will be get balanced. For the convex, the surface tension is acting in the downward, and for the concave, the surface tension is acting in the upward. So the pressure will be created. So this is about the point regarding the axis pressure. Friends, next point is the factors affecting on angle of contact. So when we are saying about the angle of contact, what is the meaning of angle of contact? The angle of contact for a given solid liquid interference can be defined as the tangent drawn to the point of contact. Here you can observe that we have drawn the tangent to the point of contact and measure it towards the side of liquid. So in last lecture, we have seen about the angle of contact. Now, next point, factors affecting on the angle of contact. So the first point which we are going to see is the nature of liquid and solid in contact. So if the solid surface is made up of the plastic, then the angle of contact is different. If the solid surface is replaced with the glass, then angle of contact will changes. So if we have the water and if we have poured that water on the plastic, then the angle of contact for the plastic has some specific value. But if the plastic is replaced with the glass, then the angle of contact will changes. So what we can say that the angle of contact depends on the nature of liquid and solid in contact. Second, impurity. So what is the meaning of the impurity? If we add any kind of material in the pure liquid, then that is known as the impurity. So if we add the sugar or if we add any salt in the water, then the pure water will become impure. So what we can say, if impurities added in the water, then its angle of contact changes. Next, temperature. As the temperature increases or decreases, the angle of contact will also changes. So lots of time for the board examination, the question will be asked for 1 or 2 marks. Write the factors on which the angle of contact depends. So what we have to remember, that the angle of contact depends upon the nature of liquid and solid in contact. Angle of contact depends upon the impurity, or angle of contact changes due to the change in the impurity, and the angle of contact changes due to the change in temperature. So next point which we are going to see from this topic is the effect of impurity on surface tension. So if we have the pure water, if we add any kind of the material, then that is called the impurity. So the impurity is also different kinds. You have seen in the chemistry. So first we are going to see that effect of impurity of surface tension in 3 different points. First is the soluble impurity. So what is the meaning of the soluble impurity? If we add any material in water and it is completely got mixed in that water, then that is known as the soluble impurity. So here we are taking one example of the NaCl, that is the sodium chloride, or in simple words we can say the salt. So when the salt is added in the water, then the salt will be completely get dissolved in the water. At that time, surface tension increases. So when the soluble material like common salt is added in the water, then surface tension increases. So in that single word, you have to write first point. Now you have to write the second point, sprangly soluble. Sprangly means if the material will be get dissolved in the water for some amount of time. Its example is a phenol. So you have heard the word phenol for cleaning purpose. Phenol is used. So when the sprangly soluble material is added in the water, then what will happen? Surface tension will decreases. Next, insoluble material. For example, if the stone is added in the water, stone is insoluble, or someone can say that if the diamond is added in the water, then diamond is also insoluble. So if insoluble substances are added, then what will happen? The surface tension will decreases. So both point of view, you have to write the answer in the three different points. First, soluble impurities. In that you have to write that when the completely soluble materials such as a common salt is added in the water, then the surface tension increases. Remember, I have written only important words. You have to make your own sentence. Then second point, you have to write when the strongly soluble materials such as a phenol is added in the water, then the surface tension of liquid decreases. And when insoluble material, for example stone, is added in the water, the surface tension will decreases. So this is the effect of impurity on surface tension. Now next is the effect of temperature on surface tension. So if the temperature of the liquid increased, then the surface tension of liquid will decreases. So it have the some common example. So now the Diwali vacations are coming, and when you will go for purchasing the clothes, at that time when you will purchase the new cotton cloth, so read the instructions what are given on the cloth, that do not wash the material in the hot water. So why such kind of the condition is written? Because if the temperature increases, then the surface tension of liquid decreases, and when the cotton fibers are given color, and if we wash the cotton fibers in the hot water, then its color will become fade, because in the hot water surface tension will decreases. So that is a practical application. So what we have to remember regarding the board point of view, effect of temperature on the surface tension. So if the temperature increases, then the surface tension of liquid will decreases. That thing you have to remember. Again, there is one example given in your textbook. For if the molten copper or cadmium is heated, then also surface tension of liquid decreases. Okay, so I hope you will understood this point. So make the proper notes. Again, I am going to revise what we have studied again. Today we have studied the shape of liquid drop on a solid surface. After that, we have seen the next point regarding the excess pressure. Here we have studied the 3 points: plane surface, convex surface, concave surface. After that, we have seen the factors affecting on angle of contact. Then we have studied effect of impurity on the surface tension, and last point we have studied the effect of temperature on surface tension. I hope you will make the notes properly. Thank you. Have a nice day.